Ladies and gentlemen, 6,806 cases and more than 6,000 cases consecutively for 2 days. Now, anyone with a little bit knowledge of statistics can look at the graph and say that we should be feeling devastated by now. And anyone with zero statistic knowledge can also say that we should be devastated by now. We have been delaying this for some times already, hoping that things will get any better, but it's not. It doesn't look like it's getting any better. So we got to face this. If we don't do it today, later on, at one point, we still need to do it. But then that's going to put us in a much worse situation. So we got to do it today. A complete lockdown. See, the last time we had a complete lockdown, people comply to the law, right? We made the case, in a span of 3 months, I think, if I'm not mistaken, we made the case to go down to as low as one single digit. And then came the Sabah election and boom, it just went up. Ever since then, I have no idea what sort of SOP that they had for the Sabah election, but whatever it is, it's a very bad one. They should be feeling, whoever is responsible for this, they should be feeling ashamed of themselves. Because of that one incident, today the cost is 6,806. Therefore, trust me, we need a full lockdown again. And I hope that there won't be any election after this for some time, at least till we manage to bring back the case back to zero. All right. Now, to make this full lockdown a successful one this time, if the government announced the full lockdown, which I hope that they would, and if they do announce the full lockdown, we need the help of 4 entities to make it a successful one. Number 1, the central government, of course. Number 2, the state government. Number 3, the NGO. And number 4, the individuals, you and me, right? With the help of this 4 group, we can make this lockdown a successful one. And here I am today with 6 steps that I drafted out that I think that every Malaysian would agree on. And I hope that this would actually be taken into account by the authorities, hopefully. And here it is. Number 1, when we announce a full lockdown, right, the first thing that the government need to do is to prepare a financial assistance for the B40 and the M40 categories, families, right? Because the vast majority of Malaysians fall in this category. And most importantly, the water bill and the electric bill, I think that the government needs to give us discount on this. I hope I'm not asking too much, but this thing was done previously as well. Previously, the B40 and M40 were given some sort of financial assistance, which is great. We really appreciate the government for doing that. And also some sort of a discount for the electric bill and stuff. I think this should also be given this time as well when the full lockdown is announced. Well, if the full lockdown is announced. Because, you see, if you're rich, it's fine. But the majority of us are not rich, And, nevertheless, a full lockdown may also end up us getting half of the pay, half of our salary. And some may not even get anything at all, And adding on to that, when you're staying at home, logically the electric bill and the water bill is going to go up. And without a discount, I'm pretty sure that the families are not able to sustain. They are going to suffer very, very much. And also, I don't know if you have watched this movie called Parasite. I think you have watched the Oscar-winning movie, the Korean movie. So in that movie, it portrays 3 categories of people, 3 levels of the community. Number 1, a simple rain actually shows this whole comparison. When it rains heavily, number 1, there's a rich class who actually sits and watch the rain with their family in a very cozy situation. Number 2, there is a group of people who actually lost their home because of a heavy rain. And number 3, there is a group of people who are living underground who never seen rain nor the sun for a very long time. There are 3 categories of people. And similarly here in Malaysia, well, we don't have anyone living underground, but we have what we call as the homeless people. Very much. There's a quite number of homeless people in every state. While most of us log into our Facebook and trend this hashtag stay at home, there are people who are actually staying without home. So we need to take into consideration of these people. So I have an idea that we can implement for these people. See, if we leave them outside, they might spread the COVID-19 as well. I mean, well, that makes sense, right? So these people surely needs to be kept in a place, but we cannot use the halls or the majlis perbandarans, all this Dewan and all that, because those places are currently being used for quarantine. But for these homeless people, I would like to suggest that we turn the car park of big shopping malls to be their temporary stay. Well, I think it makes sense, right? These malls are going to be empty because of the full lockdown. So the car parks is just going to be empty. I think it would be best if we can make use of this car park for these homeless people. Because, at the end of the day, the shopping malls, I think the owners would agree with me, the shopping malls actually make tons of money from the people. They don't sit there and do everything themselves and grow by themselves. No one mono exists here. We all coexist, right? So the people help the malls to grow. And I think it makes complete sense if we can give back to the people, if the owners can give back to the people by agreeing to convert their car park into a temporary stay for these homeless people. And I think that they pretty much don't lose anything big by agreeing for this. The government has to step up and suggest this to the shopping mall owners, and I really hope that it can be worked out. And most importantly, when we are placing the homeless people at these car parks, first thing, they have to be tested. And that brings us to number 2, automatic moratorium. See, previously the bank agreed for a 6 months moratorium for the for loans for individuals and SMEs, small medium enterprise. And I think that was a tremendous effort by the bank. And I think that right now we need their help again. This thing got to be implemented. It has to be. Because, see, it's almost impossible for a bank to go bankrupt because the system is built in such a way. But look at these people. Look at these people who are not going to earn any money during the lockdown. Look at these people who are going to survive with half of their salary. Look at these people. They won't afford to pay back the money. And I think that it makes complete sense that if the bank would agree for this, maybe it may slow down their profit, the bank's profit, but I don't think that's going to impact the bank as much as it's going to impact these people if they are forced to pay their loans when they don't have any money at all. And then in the end, we put them, we blacklist them. That's going to make things worse. And they may not comply to the full lockdown SOPs if this is the case. If they know that they cannot stay at home, they need to go out somehow and earn money because they need to pay the bank, they need to pay the loan. I'm pretty sure that they are not going to stay home. They will go out and look for money, and that's a waste altogether. All our efforts going to go, end up being a waste. So the bank has to do this for the sake of the people. Now, that brings us to number 3. The education. See, right now, the government did a tremendous job coming up with the Manual Pengajaran dan Pembelajaran di Rumah, the PDPR, which is great. Seriously, it's a great thing. But not every family or not every student afford the gadgets needed for them to be participating in the PDPR thing. Even I personally know a few families who had no tab, who can't afford to buy a laptop. So these people should be considered. I think this has been said over and over again, and people like Syed Saddiq did a tremendous job by collecting an amount of funding money and buying the kids at Johor Bahru the gadgets that they need in order to be studying from home, right? So I think that, see, this is Syed Saddiq alone. Now imagine all the 100 over 200 over mantris at the parliament agrees to do this. They all agree to do this. I think this whole problem can be solved. You see, I don't reserve the rights to tell them to donate money, because that's not my money, it's their money. But on their goodwill, I hope that they can agree to do this. All right? It's all about humanity. Like I said earlier, we all coexist. We have to help one another. Only then we can grow. Only then the nation can grow. So I hope that this will be considered. And that brings us to number 4, which is come up with a precise and systematic SOP. Now, come on. This is what makes the people very, very angry, when there is no precise and systematic SOP. Now, it's a basic human psychology. When you don't give them a proper guidance, a proper SOP, they would create their own SOP. And then you have these people going out again and again, all our effort will become a waste. So I don't blame the people, the ordinary people. If you give them the precise SOP, they will follow it. They will comply to it. So do that. See, previously, during the first pandemic season, people stayed at home. People complied to the SOP because of 2 things. Number 1, fear of death. Number 2, the whole world was doing it. So they feel more, okay, everyone is doing it, I should do it as well. But today, not every country need to have a lockdown. Brunei are doing a tremendous job. There is no lockdown. People are living a normal life. And other countries, it differs from country to country. And number 2, the fear. I don't think people are scared of COVID as much as they did for the first round. So I think it's very, very important that the government lay down a proper SOP, a systematic SOP, and then comply to it. Every ministry, every department should know what they have to do. And also, like some people, whether we like it or not, some people, they still have to go to work. They can't work from home. People like those who in the medical field, those in the police, Police Diraja Malaysia, and a lot others. But also there are people who are working as a clerk, who are working as a HR, who can do their work from home. So a proper guideline for this has to be laid down. And then people will comply to it. And make sure you're strict with it, right? Make sure you're strict with it. So people will then comply to it. People are ready to stay at home if you tell them precisely what to do. People are ready. Go and open up your Facebook and look. People have already started posting saying that they want a full lockdown, which means that they are ready to face it. All you got to do is just lay down the proper SOP and a systematic SOP. People will listen to you. That brings us to number 5, a very important point, which is called the mass testing overall in Malaysia. Right? Selangor is doing a great job on this. Selangor is a very good example. It bears the cost for testing at all the area under Selangor state. Right? And I think that the state government, all the other state government must cooperate on this. Right? They got to cooperate on this. So the state government have to step up and finance for the the COVID-19 test all over the state. We can't rely entirely on the central government, right? They got a lot on their shoulders. I think this thing can be done easily by the state government if they all agree. Every single person have to be tested. This needs to be done because what we call as a sporadic cases is increasing tremendously. Now, you may ask what a sporadic case is. See, a sporadic case means that the infected person did not have any travel history to the affected countries or contact with any infected person. See, that means that right now, I did not travel to any infected countries. I'm staying here. I did not have any close contact with any person who is infected by COVID-19. And yet, when suddenly you test me, you find out that I have COVID. See, these sort of cases are increasing a lot as compared to the first time we had our lockdown. And now, this thing can be easily stopped if the state government can agree for a mass testing where they bear the cost and they test every single person in the state. So collectively, every single person in the country needs to be tested. Only then we can stop the sporadic cases. Well, this is just one of it, but one important aspect of it. So the state government have to do this. So therefore, a mass testing is a must. Okay, that brings us to number 6, the last point, the very, very important point, which is speed up the vaccination. Speed up the vaccination, right? First thing, the vaccine needs to be available. Well, that's self-explanatory. And the second thing is people must register. Now, this is the problem. Please don't believe all the forwarded WhatsApp messages that you get. There are a lot of nonsense in it when they talk about vaccine. All right. Let me explain this to you. Now, let's say that you are taking all these home remedies, all these stuff for your well-being, to boost up your immune system. It's great. It's really, really great. You got to do it. But you cannot just rely on that. It won't work. See, if you want to be immune to COVID-19, there's only one way. That is by you being affected by the virus. Only then your body will recognize the virus and you will be immune to it. Right? This is the simple science behind a vaccination. Now, in a vaccination process, right, what happens is when they jab the vaccine into your body, to just put it in simple terms, the body will recognize the virus. So next time when a real COVID virus enters your body, your body knows how to fight back. Together with the readily strong immune that your body have because of your good eating habits and also lifestyle, together with that and the vaccine, your body will be perfect. But if you lack the vaccine and then the virus affects you, it gets into your body and it makes all the mess inside of you, well, there are chances that you recover because of your immune system, but there are also high chance that you may die. You may die because this virus is foreign to your body. Your body doesn't know anything about this virus. I understand that you have also seen a lot of cases where people who take the virus and then, people who take the vaccine and then in the end they still end up getting the virus, affected by the virus. Now, see, the thing about vaccine is that it's not 100%, not just the COVID-19 vaccine, any vaccine, even the chickenpox one, the chickenpox vaccine that you take, even that. There is no 100% guarantee that when you take a vaccine, you won't be affected. That also depends on many other factors, like your eating habits, like you're drinking all these healthy home remedies. Perfect. Chances of you getting back the virus is very, very less, almost to zero or maybe zero. But now, if your general immune system is low, you still take this vaccine, there are chances for you to get the virus. But statistically speaking, looking at the data that we have collected until today, the cases of people who get COVID-19, although after the vaccination, is very, very, very less. And cases of death after taking COVID-19 vaccine, I think it's almost zero, or at least close to zero or zero here in Malaysia. So, well, it's a good deal, right? Take it. Although you get COVID after the vaccination, you are still safe as compared to people who did not take the vaccination and then they got affected by COVID-19 virus. The chances of you dying is higher. So take the vaccine. Okay, those are the 6 steps that I would recommend you guys and also the government to implement, to take it strictly, because certain things is out of your control, like for example the automatic moratorium, financial assistance. Now these things are all can be handled by the government, and I hope that they would do it. All right. And well, first and foremost, I hope the government will announce a full lockdown in a while, and like I said, we will cooperate with the government. We will stay at home and we will make sure that we able to win over this COVID-19 pandemic. And well, stay safe, guys. Love you all.